You are now live on YouTube and Facebook.
Thanks, Brian. Again, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-bid and technical review meeting for the Kenwood Academy High School Link and Mechanical Project. My name is James Borkman with the Public Building Commission. I'll be the contract officer for this project. For those of you that are just joining, a couple of housekeeping matters. Please ensure that you are muted until the Q&A session or until I've asked for you to introduce yourself, as we will be taking attendance. As far as attendance goes, please also, in order to ensure that we track everyone who attended accurately, please ensure you put your name and your company name, as the example is listed here, in the chat for us so we can track everything. And then towards the end, we'll have a Q&A. If you'd like to jot down your questions, I encourage you to do so you don't forget them. You can also direct or private chat me, and I'll try to keep track of the questions as they come in. Again, welcome to the pre-bid and technical review meeting for Kenwood Academy High School Link and Mechanical Project. We're briefly going to go over some introductions. I will ask the eligible bidders that are here to identify themselves. I'll run down the list. We'll go over the procurement details, what we call Book 1. We'll have our compliance team go over some details in the compliance portion. And immediately following our pre-bid meeting, we will go into our technical review meeting. That'll be led by NIA Architects and the Public Building Commission. And at the end, the breakout sessions are actually the Q&A. So first, I'll start with introductions. We'll start with the PBC. My name is James Borkman, the Director of Procurement for the Public Building Commission of Chicago. Ray.
Good morning, everyone. Ray Gitteroff, Chief Development Officer at the Public Building Commission.
Patrice.
Good morning, Patrice Doyle, Director of Compliance with Public Building Commission of Chicago.
Lisa.
Good morning, Lisa Gitteroff, Director of Program Controls and Reporting at PBC.
Bryant.
Brian Payne, Public Building Commission.
And then I believe that we also have two other procurement team members on. Minnie Keys, who is procurement coordinator, and Miguel Fernandez, who is the senior procurement coordinator. And then Rudy Manning as well from IT, who is also on. Is there any other PBC employee on?
James, the commission rep for the project is Miriam Gutierrez. She's on the call, our Director of Planning and Design, Cal Lejeune. And then James, if it's okay, if our partners from CPS can introduce themselves.
They were next. Please.
Good morning, Brian Zader with Chicago Public Schools.
Morning, everyone. George Chavez, also Chicago Public Schools.
Thank you both. And then James, if it's okay, the architect of record, if it can introduce itself.
Please.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Akindele, NIA Architects. And then Sigurd and...
Good morning, Sigurd Kolomainen, NIA Architects.
And then MEP.
Yeah. Say hi, Jeff.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
thank you, Anthony.
We have Jeff Cohn from, I know we have John Nowakowski from Mary Cohn. Engage Civil. You're on mute.
Kelsey's there.
Good morning, everyone. Kelsey Taylor, President of Engage Civil.
And Structurals.
Yeah, hi. Arturo Pereira, Structural from Millhouse Engineering.
And Landscape.
Good morning. This is Jeff Trost with Site Design Group, landscape architect for the project.
Anybody else from the team online? I think that's all. Thank you all.
Thank you, Anthony. And last but not least, I'll go down the list. And if you are here from one of the pre-qualified general contractors for this project, would you please state your name? Albright Construction Company. Barton Mallow Company. Anyone from Bergland Construction Company? Anyone from Blenderman Construction Company? Burling Builders? Clark Construction Group, LLC? Development Solutions, Inc.? FH Passion, S.N. Nielsen and Associates?
Yeah, Mickey McDonough. I'm with FH Passion.
Morning, Mickey.
Morning.
Friedler Construction Company? Henry Brothers? Hunt Construction Company, Inc. James McHugh Construction. KR Miller Contractors.
Yes, good morning, Andy Eichhorn, KR Miller Contractors.
Morning, Andy.
Morning.
Anyone from Madison Construction Company? Old Veteran Construction? Path Construction Company? Power Construction Company? Powers and Sons Construction Company? The George Solid Construction Company? Turner Construction Company? Tyler Lane? Ujamaa? Vanner? W.E. O'Neill? Walsh. All right. So briefly, we'll start by going over the procurement details for this project. Again, James Borkman, sole contact for this contract. If you have any questions, ensure that they've come to me. We've already received a number of RFIs. We'll likely have another addenda. So please ensure that all those questions come to my attention. The project is located at 5015 South Blackstone Avenue in Chicago. It's a general overview of the scope of work. It's an enclosed second level link between two buildings. This also involves relocation of an existing parking lot and the associated site restoration, as well as the reconfiguration of the northern parking lot. We'll go into details of these momentarily. There's also added walks and relocation of a batting cage, a new driveway apron, and the associated site development. The time of completion, the time of completion is as listed in Book 1 under Section 2E. We have 2 milestone dates and a substantial completion date. First, for the site improvements and contractor mobilization, which would be November 30th, 2023. Substantial completion achieved August 11th, 2023. And then the rest of the MEP scope, electrical renovations and associated site work, also November 30th, 2023. Ray, would you like to talk briefly a little bit about these?
Yeah, James, if you wanted, I think if we go through the pre-bid procurement sections and then we'll shift over to the tech review and we'll review that in detail. I don't want to take time away from Patrice and the team.
Understood. The LDs for this project are $1,500 per day for each scheduled milestone and the substantial completion date. All the documents are available at the Aloha Print Group Plan Room, which is linked on the PBC's website, as well as available in the information I sent to each of the pre-qualified bidders. Book 1, Book 2, Book 3, you're all familiar with the documentation contained in those books. The contact information for Aloha Print Group can be found on the screen here. This presentation will be placed on the project opportunity page for the Kenwood Link project at the PBC's webpage.
James, are you sharing your screen?
Yes. Oh, thank you, Patrice. I apologize. Can you see that now?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
There we go. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Patrice. So project overview. You guys have already seen this information. It's in book one. The availability of documents, again, at the Aloha Print Group Plan Room, and the contact information for Miss Peak located right there. The documentation is also available from our assist agencies. As you know, those are listed in book one as well as on the PBC's website. The technical review meeting will take place immediately following the rest of the overview of the procurement details. No site visit has currently been scheduled. However, bidders are advised that their familiarity with the project is a requirement for submitting your bids. Again, the sole point of contact is myself. The current deadline for questions is October 20th, 2022 by 4:00 p.m. As you know, one addenda has already been issued. Addendum number 1 was issued on October 6th. We anticipate further addenda clarifying questions that we've received. The bid due date is October 27th at 11 a.m. The PBC will be open from 9:30 until 11 a.m. However, we highly encourage you to submit your bids via electronic bid submission. The electronic submission form is included in book 1 and is available from the Aloha Print Group Plan Room, as well as available on the PBC's page. Please, if you can, submit your bid electronically. It will ensure that your math has been mathed correctly, and that makes all of our lives a lot easier. The PBC's bid opening will be streamed live, and it will be recorded and placed on the PBC's webpage. And you can watch that on the PBC's YouTube page or on the PBC's Facebook page. If you're submitting electronically, we'll need one complete copy of the bid packet. You need to scan this in as a searchable PDF. Please follow the instructions in book 1. You'll need to include the original signatures. We prefer blue ink or digital signatures. Ensure that you have your bid bonds in there, and include the bid award form and award criteria sheet in a PDF searchable format separately within the email. You'll need to email it to both bids@pbcchicago.com and myself to ensure that it's received. If you are still in the Stone Age and really want to do a hard copy submission, we will be open from 9:30 to 11. Mail is very sporadic. We highly encourage you to drop it off if you submit a hard copy. If you do, please follow the very specific instructions located in book 1, including 2 single-sided copies in sealed envelopes, labeled correctly. Address them to the PBC and preferably hand deliver them. Again, we'll only be open between 9:30 and 11 a.m. on the 27th. Bid form is pretty straightforward for this project, not a large number of alternates. The allowances are baked in for you. The math will automatically populate. You simply enter your base work only, and Patrice will go over the total award criteria information in a moment, and this will populate for you. The basis of award is fairly standard, lowest responsive responsible bidder, also adhering to all requirements of the contracts. You must fill out the entire bid form in order for your response to be considered responsive. The pre-award meeting is tentatively scheduled for Halloween, October 31st at 11 a.m. And notice of award is anticipated at our November 2022 Board of Commissioners meeting. As all of you know, you'll be required to provide satisfactory insurance and payment performance bond no later than 7 days following the NOA. I briefly want to go over some book 1 and book 2 highlights. First, the budget, staffing, and additional requirements. The construction budget for this project is $6.1 million. There is a mandatory project staffing. I encourage you to please review book 1, page 5. The scheduling software will be Primavera. Look at book 1, page 6. The LDs, again, we went over those, $1,500 per day. Please look at book 1, page 6. And this project is subject to the Chicago Public Schools Board of Education Project Labor Agreement. That's book 1, page 12. It is linked to the most current version of the PLA. It is your responsibility to ensure that you review the PLA and ensure that the most current version is followed. If you're interested in joint venturing, which we always encourage, the Schedule B is available in the packet. Any questions about that, please ensure you get a request for information to me. The list of pre-qualified general contractors can be found on book 1, page 5, in case you're interested. The Schedule B joint venture affidavit is fairly straightforward. It's 2 pages long or 3 pages long. You'll see the first page listed here. Make sure you submit the information required, including the agreement between your firm and the firm you're proposing to joint venture with. We will need the joint venture agreement. You'll also need the certification letter for either both or one of the firms. I briefly turn it over to compliance to go over some book 1 and book 2 highlights. Patrice.
Good morning. As James mentioned, for book 1, the award criteria figure, there is a maximum of 70% minority journey worker, apprentice, and labor, a maximum of 15% female journey worker, apprentice, and labor. These are volunteer goals, but once the contract is awarded, whatever percentage of workforce that you commit to, then it becomes not a goal, and it's a commitment that you have to make these goals. So this is something that you should consider very carefully before you decide what percentage, because if you say 70% minority journey apprentice and labor and 15% female journey worker apprentice and labor, that you're committed to those goals once the contract is awarded. The community hiring goal is 7.5%, and the city residency goal is 50%. The community hiring commitment is 7.5%, and the city residency commitment is 50%. There's a community area map in book 1 that will identify the community areas for this project. Next. And these are the community areas for the project. And once you are awarded the project, I will go into deeper details about the community area map. But 7.5% of the workforce, and these are people, not contractors, 7.5% of the workforce must come from this community. Again, the award criteria, the minority journey, apprentice, and labor, the maximum is 70%. The maximum for female is 15%. Again, this is a goal, but once the contract is awarded, it becomes a commitment. So be very mindful of your percentages, your requirement for this project. And this is how we determine the lowest responsive. This is one of the determinations in the lowest responsible bidder, because this will determine your award criteria amount. Once you enter your information and this form is populated, it will do the calculations for you as well. The goals for this project is 24% MBE participation and 8% WBE participation. We only accept certifications from the city of Chicago and Cook County. We do not accept certifications from the state or any other certifying agency other than Cook County and city of Chicago. And there's additional MWBE information in the special conditions for Article 23. Our payment system is B2G Now. They track our payments once the contract is awarded. The established business manufacturers receive 100% participation as MBE and or WBE. Suppliers receive 60% of the contract value participation, and brokers receive 0%. The GC must submit a Schedule D and Schedule C and certifications letters for their M&WBE contractors. So the Schedule D identifies the credit amount. So if you have a supplier or the credit amount that they can receive for MBE and WB participation, you will put that credit amount on this form. This is to be completed by the general contractor. The Schedule C should be completed by the MBE and or WBE, and this is their total contract amount. So for instance, if you have a supplier and their total contract amount is 100,000, 100,000 would go on this form and 60% would go on the Schedule D form. The highlighted section on page 2 is often a section that contractors forget or negate to complete. And that is if you're subcontracting to a and this is work to be performed, not supplies. So if you're subcontracting to a non-MBE and or WMBE and WMBE, WBE to perform work, you must put that percentage on here. If you are subcontracting to a to perform work on a project, that amount should be deducted from the total contract value and the credit amount should appear on the Schedule D. So it's very important that your calculations on your Schedule C and your Schedule D are correct. Again, the credit amount appears on the Schedule D and the total contract value amount appears on the Schedule C. So it's very important that the subcontracting levels are completed correctly and at time of bid. Next.
Thank you, Patrice. Very briefly before since we're a little ahead of schedule, again, PBC contact myself. I'm the sole point of contact for this project. Very briefly, are there any questions about Book 1 or the highlights of Book 1 and Book 2 or compliance matters? Okay, we'll turn the meeting over to the technical review portion. We'll start with Ray Gitteroff, our Chief Development Officer here at the PBC.
Thank you, James. First and foremost, Brian Zader and CPS appreciate the opportunity to procure the work on your behalf and get started on this important project, important to the school principal, important to the community, and especially important to the students. The entire team, including CPS and its architect, Nia, has done a tremendous job in updating documents, reviewing program and scope elements, confirming any open issues. So we have a high level of confidence in the quality of the documents that we've issued for bid. We anticipate, as James Borkman indicated, a second addendum to be issued at some point next week. Have received some very good questions so far from some of our bidders. So we appreciate that. As James indicated, he is the contract officer and our director of procurement. Everything goes through him. So we'll look forward to that. Our architect of record, Nia, will present the project momentarily. Our commission representative, Miriam, will briefly review the proposed phasing and logistics plan. But James, before we get started on that, do you mind going back to the slide that indicated the time of completion requirements? I just want to highlight a couple of important elements for the bidders plus everybody that's on this phone call with us right now. Thank you, James, for doing that.
No problem.
Okay, great. And just to highlight some of the elements here that are key for your consideration in reviewing exactly the time of completion requirements, the overall execution strategy, so that it's achievable and realistic. As James alluded to early on, we've agreed with the school, by the way, and our partners at CPS that what's best for the project and ultimately what's best for our bidders is to break the project into these different completion dates as you see them. Important note, and Miriam and the architect will review that when the site plan is shared on the screen. But that milestone 1 that includes all the site improvement work plus the bidders mobilization area that you'll see in the mobilization plan includes all of these tasks as part of milestone 1. The main element here is, in terms of mobilization activities not starting sooner than January 3rd of 2023, and the bidder's assumption that the building permits approval is anticipated by January 31st of 2023. So therefore, from a planning and pricing perspective, where the bidders are concerned, you'll see on the phasing plan where there is an area isolated, whereas you may mobilize no sooner than January 3rd, all the way through November 30th of next year, 2023, you'll have that area to mobilize, stage, and perform whatever tasks that are required, assuming, as indicated in Book 1 and the phasing plan, that the building permits will be issued by January 31st, 2023. The architect of record will briefly summarize those 2 permits and the incredible work that the architect's done already to upload to the building department and already start corresponding with the building department in regard to questions or clarifications required from the architect. And then separately, substantial completion that we've designated for the critical work, which is the new link and the work associated with that new link. So starting that work no sooner than April 3rd, which is the Monday of spring break for CPS next year, and finishing that work prior to or on August 11th, 2023, before faculty and students return for the academic year. That's an important element in this project. So please pay close attention to the specific dates and constraints related to execution of the work. And then separately, with regard to the milestone 2 work, still very important is the MEP upgrades, the electrical service that's required, and the renovations within the existing school that are also paramount to the work that we're performing on behalf of CPS. You'll note here that in this case, for substantial completion in milestone 2, the start no sooner than dates are the same as April 3rd, 2023, which is the commencement of CPS's spring break for next year. However, as you note here, the completion dates are different, whereas the completion date for milestone 2 aligns with the completion date for milestone 1, whereas the SC date as listed here is August 11, 2023. So we took a lot of time, CPS, NIA, the school, and PBC to really understand the best for our bidders, the project, CPS, and the school in terms of executing the work. So James, I did want to just take time to go through this slide that's very important. Clearly, as James noted, the time of completion requirements are stipulated in our instructions to the bidders, which is Book 1. So please pay attention to that. And then James, we can go back to the slide that you had queued up for the tech review. And James, I appreciate you doing that. Okay.
Happy to.
Great. Okay, great. So at this point, allow me to please turn this over to Anthony from NIA, and his team will provide a brief overview of the key elements of this project. So Anthony, if you and your team wouldn't mind, if you can start that overview.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. Again, as it has been said, this is a project has been divided into 3 segments, 3 milestones. The link is the one with the first and second floor vestibule between the 2 buildings, and the bridge as well that links the 2 buildings together. The vestibule on the Kenwood and the campus side, both are also part of the project. And we do also have the street trusses that supports the bridge. So because of infrastructure that on the streets, they're unable to put columns in the roadway. So hence the steel truss connection between the 2 buildings. Then there is the interior finish, the cladding of the exterior, the metal panel, the windows, and the roof that encloses the bridge and the second floor and first floor vestibules. They are very small plumbing system in the link. However, you have quite a few plumbing in the mechanical project. Electrical, we have a new transformer that goes on a little bit north of existing Kenwood. So that's transformer possibly supposed to be part of the MEP project. However, it also has some correlations with the link. So again, based on the schedule milestone, those are to be working, in tandem. The mechanical, again, has both the mechanical system for the link and the vestibule on the link project, and then also the different MEP for the athletic building, building C. The roof is, modified bitumen roofing systems with area drains. Then we have some glazed curtain walls on the vestibules. In addition to this, we have some site work. We have no parking lots.
Next slide.
Yeah. We have some, we have no parking lot to these north of the council building. So, and that parking lot also has storm detention system in it, as well as a new parking lot, as you were saying, between the two buildings, so which also has some type of storm detention. Landscaping is part of this work, which replaces, which screens the parking lot on the north side, as well as the parking lot on the west side on Blackstone Street. There is a segment of a new driveway along Hyde Park Boulevard. So driveway permit has been submitted, and that's in process. And then there's some other hardscape work that has to be completed north of the building, rearrangement of the parking on the east side of existing Kenwood School. Next slide, please. On the interior, again, you have the concrete floor with tile flooring, paintings, ceilings, and windows. So again, it's pretty straightforward. Again, as Ray has mentioned, we have really tried to make sure that these documents are, as substantially completed as much as possible. So hopefully, questions relating to the structures, anything that we have, we can address them through addendum. Next slide, please. Again, these are existing conditions. We have some demolitions that need to be really taken care of. That's identified in the documents. So care must be taken to just demo what is identified in the documents, not to go beyond the demolition limits. Next, please. Again, you can see the overall concept of the project. To the north side is the new parking lot, and the middle is the new parking lot between the two buildings, and the link is identified. And all the way down to the south is the new driveway along the Hyde Park Boulevard Street that creates a new drop-off queuing system for students to be dropped off without having increased traffic along Hyde Park Boulevard. Next, please. So the phasing plan has, Ray has gone through that very extensively. Thank you, Ray. And you can see what area needs to be started when, and when it's supposed to be substantially completed. Those are all identified on the documents. So any questions, please let us know. Next. And this is overall the site plan. You can see where the water is coming through the building. That's one of the reasons why we can't put the columns between them, because again, you've got a huge water main that goes between the two. The ComEd transformer, which I mentioned earlier, is coming to the north of the Kenwood schools. There's, you can see the egress, existing egress and ingress of the building, the sewer line. So again, this is pretty explanatory, and hopefully, as you go through it, you will find some, any issues that need some clarifications, and we should be able to clarify that before the bid due date. Next slide, please. Again, this is pretty straightforward. The colored one is the link and the vestibules between the two buildings, which is shown in red or in brown. Yeah, so that's the vestibule, the link between the two buildings, and some other landscaping and parking. Demolition of the north side of the Kenwood care needs to be taken, because this is a precast wall panel on the existing Kenwood. So when demoing that part of the building, we must be very careful in making sure that we follow what the document says. Next. You can see, again, you can see the ramp inside the first floor vestibule because of difference in elevation, difference in grade. So you have ramp from first floor down to grade outside on the Kenwood. And the same thing happens on the counter side. There's a little change in elevation, so the ramp and the stairs and the vestibule on the first floor. Next. And then the second floor is pretty, aligned. You can see the vestibule on both second floor of both buildings, and then the connecting link. The elevation shows, again, high performance window, metal panels that, that has been really vetted out, and make sure that everything is, substantial, and everything is well detailed in the drawings. We have in a new ramp on the Kenwood north side that out from the pool, from the girls' pool. New ramp is shown right there on your lower right-hand side with new railings. Yeah. The section through the bridge shows the truss as you transverse from Kenwood to Cantor side, drop ceilings, lighting, very, very little plumbing, which is just the roof drain that brought down, other than that, there's very little plumbing. It's mostly electrical, mechanical, architectural, and structural that is predominant for this project. Landscaping, civil, then some permeable pavers at the parking lot, some concrete pavers. The drive between the two Kenwood has, it's very well detailed to make sure that that actually is capable of carrying a fire truck. So, that is designed to carry, almost 50,000 pounds of fire engine truck. And then the one lower side is the new driveway along Hyde Park Boulevard. So, next. Again, some landscape details, grading details. the cross-section profile of the truss and the connections. Again, take a look at it and the connections, and pretty straightforward, I believe. So next, mechanical system, how the space is conditioned, was shown on our mechanical drawings. You have the ductwork. So again, this is all pretty straightforward mechanical layout systems. Next. Again, we talk about landscaping. So they're very well landscaped, have evergreens on the north side of the property because they're screening the CPS, the whole CPS properties from the neighbor to the north. So there is heavy evergreen vegetations, landscaping screening on Blackstone, landscaping screening fence along Blackstone as well through a drive-through that leads to the back of the fire lane, fire engine trucks to be able to access the buildings, if needed. And then the other project is the MEP project, which is just again conditioning of the new electrical room, new transformer. We're having a dehumidification for the pool. The ComEd system has started. So again, we've contacted ComEd and they already have all their SEL letters, all the load letters has been given to them, and they have started the engineering designs. So the trainer's room is new trainer's room, trainer's office on the north side of the Kenwoods. Next. Again, these are photos of existing rooms that's going to be converted to new trainer's room, new electrical room, because we have to provide electrical room for the MEP project. So, existing condition photos. New lockers has been provided in the trainer's room. Reflector ceiling plan, floor, floor finish. Then we go into this electrical systems, new transformer, new electrical run from transformer to the new electrical room, and for distribution for the rooftop units and for lighting in the link and the vestibule.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Thank you.
At this time, if there are any questions from pre-qualified bidders or others, we'll entertain them. Also, let me check on the chat and see if I've received any questions there while people are thinking. Miguel, can you confirm if any questions have come through the chat for me?
No questions through the chat.
Thank you. All right, if there are no questions, anyone that didn't have an opportunity to introduce themselves that represents subcontractors or another trade, if you would please introduce yourself at this time And again, this sign-in sheet will be shared on our website so all of the pre-qualified bidders can see who's attending. Anyone that didn't introduce themselves previously. And Miriam, I was remiss for not introducing you. If you'd introduce yourself as the project manager, please.
Everyone, my name is Miriam Gutierrez, or MG. I'll be the project manager for this project. I'm very excited with everybody that's joined the calls. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that might be a little bit different on this project. Usually substantial completion comes at the end. We all think of that. But please know that substantial completion for this project is the new link, which falls right in the middle. So if anybody has any questions, send them over to James and we will get back to you as soon as we can. So thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, Miriam. Ray, anything else from the development side?
No, James, thank you for all the support from procurement and our partners at CPS and NIA. Thank you very much.
Yes, big thank you to NIA and to CPS for allowing us to be part of this project. So at this time, that will conclude the pre-bid and tech review meeting for the Kenwood Academy High School Link and Mechanical Project. Again, final reminder, James Borkman, sole contact for the project. As Ray pointed out previously, we hope to have another addenda out shortly, and we'll continue to process your questions as they come in. So thank you for joining. This will be available on the PBC's website, as well as on our YouTube page, and the attendance sheet should be up later today. Thank you for joining us for the Kenwood Academy High School Link and Mechanical Project pre-bid and technical review meeting.
Bye, everyone.